यस्य रूपमधिकम् प्रच्छन्नगुप्तं धनम् विद्या भोगकरी यशः सुखकरी विद्या गुरुणा गुरुः विद्या बन्धुजनो विदेशगमने विद्या परं दैवतम् विद्या राजसु पूज्यते न तु धनम् विद्या विहीनः पशुः विद्या प्रशस्यते लोकैः विद्या सर्वत्र गौरवा विद्यया लभते सर्वम् विद्वान् सर्वत्र पूज्यते ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते।
Dr. Sulbha Aloke Dey is an assistant professor at the Parle-Tilak Vidyalaya Association's Mulund College of Commerce since October 2013. She is an M.Com with B.Ed and has cleared her NET and Sept exams and also holds a doctorate degree. She has a teaching experience in junior college for 5 years and in degree college for 10 years. She was also a lecturer at the Model College of Science and Commerce from September 2008 to April 2013 and an assistant professor at the KB College of Commerce, Arts and Science from June 2013 to September 2013. She has also been a recognized postgraduate teacher. Dr. Sulbha Dey has presented and published several research papers including the following: Glass Ceiling in the Indian Context at an international conference organized by the KB College of Arts and Commerce of Women. Green Banking Practices in Badlapur, a review at a Multidisciplinary National Conference organized by the A.E. Kalsekar Degree College of Arts, Commerce and Science. Hurdles in the Pathway of Women Entrepreneurs in Badlapur city of the Thane District at a national conference organized by the K.M. Agrawal College of Arts, Commerce and Science. Green Retailing, a Means for Sustainable Development at the national conference organized by the Mulund College of Commerce. And a study on awareness about green products among today's youth in a UGC recognized international journal. Madam has also secured the first position by being the recipient of the award presented for the best research paper on the topic, a study on environmental friendly practices adopted by today's youth at the national conference held at the Lala Lajpat Rai College of Commerce and Economics. Dr. Sulbha Dey has also authored a chapter on the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi's thoughts on environment in today's context in the edited book Gandhian Thoughts, Nature and Relevance. Madam Sulbha has participated in many seminars, webinars and workshops at the national and international levels and has been a member of the organizing committee of a few of them. She has been invited as a resource person to deliver lectures on various topics too. A warm welcome, Vidyavachaspati, Dr. Sulbha Dey.
Namaskar. Today I am going to present report of my doctoral research in brief on the topic impact of green policies and practices on economic performance of organized retailers in Mumbai. So I conducted this study to examine environmental friendly policies and practices of organized retailers in Mumbai and impact of these environmental friendly policies and practices on their economic performance. So at the outset, let me tell you that why I selected the topic related to environment, why retailers, then why organized retailers only, why stand alone organized retail stores, why only from Mumbai, and then why I link environmental friendly policies and practices with economic performance. So with reference to environment, now environment has always been very close to my heart. I am always very much concerned about degrading environment, depletion of natural resources, and it's not only me. You all will agree that today entire world is showing great concern about degrading environment, depletion of natural resources. So it was decided by me that whenever I will get an opportunity to pursue my doctoral degree, definitely I will do something related to environment, and that is how I started my topic with environment friendly policies and practices. Then how come retailers? So my doctoral research degree is in commerce. So when we say commerce, it is related to business. So that was one reason that I selected retailers. I decided to examine green environmental friendly policies and practices of businesses. One more reason that through past studies, I came to know that businesses are mainly responsible, their marketing activities are mainly responsible for degrading environment. So that was also one of the reasons why I decided to examine environment friendly policies and practices of businesses. So when came to businesses, now which business? Which sector? So again when I studied literature in my area, I found that none of the studies have conducted with reference to retailers in this area in Mumbai. So that was one reason that I decided to go with retailers, to go with retailing sector. Another reason that we all know that retailing sector is a very important sector and it plays very important role in the development of any country. But at the same time, this sector is highly resource intensive and burdening heavily on usage of water, energy and other natural resources. So if I conduct the study and if my study help to encourage retailers to adopt environmental friendly practices, then it will definitely lead to sustainable production and distribution. That was another reason. One more reason for selecting retailers was, we all know how retailers conduct their business. They buy goods from manufacturers and sell them to consumers. So in this process of buying and selling, they act as a link between manufacturers and consumers. So if retailers adopt environmental friendly practices, so they will definitely encourage, they will definitely inspire to manufacturers as well as consumers also to adopt environment friendly practices. So this was the reason, these were the reasons why I decided to go with retailers. Then when I decided to go with retailers, there was a question whether organized retailers or unorganized retailers. We know that in India, retailing sector is divided into organized retailers and unorganized retailers. Unorganized retailers, they follow old fashioned format, low cost format such as kirana stores, general stores, pavement vendors, pan bidi shop. Whereas organized retailers, these are all corporate backed hypermarkets, large business organization, the retailers with multiple chain stores, having goodwill, having their own brand in the market. So, again through past studies, I found that organized retailers, they are capable of shouldering the responsibility of implementing environment friendly policies and practices. Organized retailers, if we look at the share of organized retailers in Indian retailing landscape, according to 2019 data, organized retailers had just 12% of share, whereas unorganized retailers had 88% of share. But though they are large in number, unorganized retailers, they follow old methods of doing business, they have a financial problem, they are not highly literate, and therefore then I decided to study environmental friendly policies and practices of organized retailers. Then I decided to go with stand-alone organized retail stores. Now from my study point of view, stand-alone organized retail stores are those stores which are located on the street. It means I did not consider for my study the organized stores located in malls, shopping malls. The reason was, you all must be knowing that in malls the stores are managed through centralized management. Therefore, the individual stores, they do not have a control over usage of electricity, water, and my study wanted to measure economic performance of individual stores, and therefore then I decided to go with stand-alone organized retail stores. Then there was a question, which area? So again through past studies, it was found that organized retailing was flourishing in Mumbai. At the same time, Mumbai was also facing problem of pollution, depletion of natural resources, and it was a high time for all those who reside in Mumbai, whether they are consumers, whether they are business people, to wake up and adopt green ways of life. And that is how then I decided to conduct my study in Mumbai. Then the question is, why I gave the angle of economic performance to my study? So the reason is, I wanted to find out, is there any impact on impact on performance of adoption of environmental friendly practices? It means whether adoption of environmental friendly practices, policies help retailers to reduce any sort of cost, whether it helps them to increase their sale, whether it helps them to increase their profitability. I wanted to know that. Why? Because this is something could be the motivating factor, being a retailer's they are a business people, and if they come to know that if they adopt environmental friendly practices, their performance, their economic performance, their sale will increase, the profit will increase, the cost will come down, and this would be the motivating factor for retailers to adopt environmental friendly practices. And not only to retailers, my study will encourage to all other business sectors to adopt environmental friendly practices, because they can see their benefit in the form of economic performance. So this is how I decided to study retailers with reference to their environmental friendly policies and practices and impact of these practices on their economic performance. So, then I started collecting data about the organized retail stores, standalone organized retail stores located in Mumbai. I use multiple authentic sources, and through those sources I could identify 743 standalone organized retail stores in Mumbai, but I could collect data only from 245 standalone organized retail stores. It took me a long time of 1 year for collecting data from 245 standalone organized retail stores. It was really a depressing state for me. Even I was thinking to leave my study, but then when I collected data and when I got my doctoral research in my hand, all those pen vanish. So this is a profile of organized retail stores. I had collected data from almost all wards of Mumbai, and you can see the ward H and ward K contains majority of stores. So ward H and ward K, it contains areas like Andheri, Jogeshwari, Vile Parle, and you know that this is an area where people follow westernized culture. The people are more fashion conscious, maybe because of the proximity to Bollywood industry, and then that might be the reason that more stores were located or are located in this area. With reference to the level of operations, so organized retail stores have a large geographical reach, and which was evident that you can see almost all stores, they were either operating at international level or national level. If you look at the year of establishment, majority of stores were established between the period 2001 to 2018. Majority of stores were dealing in apparel. Organized retail stores, there is one important characteristics of organized retail stores, that they operate their business through the network of chain stores, and that was evident through the data of number of branches. So majority of stores were having the branches within a range of 1 to 200. With reference to area of these stores, so you can see none of the stores were having area more than 30,000 square feet. So geographical constraint of an overpopulated city like Mumbai, considering this fact, this particular findings are quite noticeable. So as I told you that through my study, I examine environmental friendly practices or green practices of organized retailers, and for studying green practices, these areas I had selected, that is waste management, water management, electrical energy management, efficient fuel management, green procurement, employee environment training, customer environmental education and marketing management. So, if you look at this data, with reference to waste management practices, 16 practices were identified, and in these 16 practices you can see the practice no use of plastic bags were adopted by 84% of respondents. So, it was the highest adopted practice, whereas outsourcing recycling of garbage to the waste management agency was the least adopted practice. With reference to water management practices, 11 practices were identified, and regular maintenance for leakage free plumbing system was adopted by 44% of respondents, and rain water harvesting, it was the least adopted practice, it was just for 3%. With reference to electrical energy management practices, again 12 practices were identified for study, and in that the highest adopted practice was use of energy efficient lighting fixtures and bulbs, and the least adopted practice was use of green energy, and we all know that this is still in nascent stage in India. With reference to efficient fuel management practice, 7 practices were identified, and the highest adopted practice was regular repair and maintenance of vehicle, and the least adopted practice of use of teleconferencing and online meetings. Green procurement practices, here 6 practices were studied, and the highest adopted practice was selling eco-friendly products, and the least adopted practice was auditing of suppliers. The next area was employee environmental training practices. There were 4 practices: holding workshops and training courses for employees were adopted by 50% of respondents, and distribution of a wide range of information and promotional material, it was the least adopted practice. Customer environmental education and marketing management practices, there were 4 practices for study. Use of eco-label to educate consumers was the highest adopted practice, and use of in-store merchandising programs to promote eco-friendly products was the least adopted practice. The efforts were also made to check whether these practices adopted by organized retailers, whether these practices are guided by policies, whether these stores have well-defined policies, because having policies always give more clarity, it provide accurate roadmap for successful implementation of environmental friendly practices. Therefore, I wanted to know whether these retail stores, they have well-defined green policies. Of course, the result was depressing, that I could see only 27% of respondents had green policies. But we know that environmental friendly practices or the concept of green marketing or the concept of green retailing is at nascent stage in India. We are not developed in these areas like other developed countries. So, even these percentage is less, but still it is a welcoming step that at least 27% of retailers, they had green policies, and these policies guiding them to adopt their green practices. So, as I told you that my study also wanted to see the impact of environmental friendly policies and practices on economic performance. So, the respondents were asked to mention their economic performance before and after introducing green policies and practices. You can see here all the costs associated with all those areas related to green practices. Everywhere you can see the cost has reduced. When it comes to sales revenue, it has increased. So it shows that adoption of environmental friendly practices improves economic performance, it brings your cost down, it increases your sale. But again you can see one more thing here. You can look at the response. It is just 0.5%, 2.5%, 10%. What it shows? It shows that the few organized retailers had green policies, but many organized retailers were practicing number of green practices, but they could not mention its impact on their economic performance because there was no mechanism, no practice of doing cost benefit analysis. So we can conclude here that if we want to strengthen green movement, if we want to encourage organized retailers, so there should be a system of keeping record of cost benefit analysis, then only people can understand the importance of adopting green practices and policies from economic performance point of view. So, I can say here that when I talk about the state of green retailing in Mumbai, it was really miserable, and I think when I conducted this research, the situation may not be different in other parts of country. As I already mentioned that we are, with reference to all this concept, we are at nascent stage and we all need to do whatever little we can do to save our environment, to strengthen green movement. So it is needed to create awareness among organized retailers, not only organized retailers but among other business organizations, that it is a high time for all of us to change the way we are doing our business and to adopt environmental friendly practices. It will not only save environment, but it will also improve performance of your business. So it gives dual benefit. Government has to play important role by bringing stringent rules and regulation for making it compulsory to adopt green policies and practices in business organization. The government should provide all required assistance to business organization if they find any glitches, if they find any problem in implementation of these practices. Policy makers, educational institutions, they can also play important role by developing pro-environmental curriculum. This pro-environmental curriculum will definitely help budding entrepreneur, budding organized retailers to get insight how they can implement environmental friendly practices in their business and how they can improve performance of their business. Only creating awareness is not enough. There is a continuous need of generating new knowledge. Therefore, the research in this area should be encouraged, and whatever knowledge is generated, it should be shared across state, across country through organizing workshops and seminars. Role of media is also important. Media should create awareness among organized retailers that how they can adopt environmental friendly practices and how they can get dual benefit out of it. And we consumers also can play important role in this green movement. We always should see to purchase things from the retailers who adopt environmental friendly practices in their store. And this is how we all can save our Mother Earth. Thank you so much.
विज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते